Hi guys, my name is Olivia Gasbera, and you're probably all wondering why you're here today, right? Well, I'm going to be talking about lupus and how it is a life-changing disease. Here we go. So, before we get started, I just want to give you guys a little insight as to what lupus is. It is a chronic autoimmune disease, but what does autoimmune mean? This is when your immune system creates autoantibodies that destroy and attack healthy body tissue. So basically, your body cannot tell the difference between foreign invaders and your healthy tissues. Lupus can also damage any part of your body, for example, your skin, joints, and organs. Unfortunately, there is no cure for lupus, but someone with this disease is expected to live a normal lifespan. So, for this project, I found a variety of different resources that will hopefully be beneficial to anyone with lupus or someone they know with this disease. So, the first is a brochure on what you should know about lupus, a health app called My Pain Diary, most and least recommended types of yoga when you have lupus, manifestations of SLE or lupus, and lastly, a documentary on life with lupus. So, what you should know about lupus. It is a brochure that I found on the Lupus Foundation website, which is nice because it's accessible to anyone. And it explains anything from what it is to who can contract this disease. There's a ton of information in this brochure, and it's beneficial to anyone with serious or mild lupus. What I love about this brochure is that it lets you know that you aren't alone while battling this disease. And it isn't just an informational piece of paper, but it also helps us stay positive in our journey through life. The brochure mentions that we shouldn't be focusing on what we can't do, but what we can do to keep ourselves healthy. For example, taking our medications on a daily basis, what you eat, and just making things easier, like little things like bringing pots and pans down closer to a shelf where you can reach so that when a body part begins to hurt, you won't have to strain yourself to get it. And as I mentioned before, don't forget that you aren't alone through this process. My Pain Diary app. This was created in 2009 by Damon Lin. So when I came across this app, I was originally looking for a game, but when I found this app, I knew that it would be really beneficial to a patient with lupus. So what does it do? Well, to start off, it's right in the name. It can and will track where your pain was that day and how bad it was. What's really cool about this app is that you can send this information electronically to your doctor so that they can help keep a record of what is going on in your body. There is a color-coded calendar that shows you which days were good and which days were bad. So, for example, green days um, equal no pain, and red days equal pain on a certain body part. One thing that I don't really like about this app is that you can't access it from a laptop or a computer, so it can only be used on your smartphone and on the go, which is nice, but overall, it's a really good app. Most and least recommended types of yoga when you have lupus. So this is a magazine that I also found online, which is really nice because you don't have to sign up for a yearly subscription or anything like that. You can just go right to the Lupus Foundation of America website and access it from there. This would be a great magazine to use if you're looking to exercise as a lupus patient but don't want to hurt yourself or cause a body part to become inflamed. In here it tells you the best and worst types of yoga to practice. So the best type of yoga to use is called restorative yoga. This is a mellow and slow moving type of yoga which requires you to hold your poses longer and for a longer amount of time than usual, but it gives your body the chance to relax. The pictures show you that you can use anything to help prop you up so that if it's uncomfortable to stay in that pose for a longer amount of time, you can use like a pillow or a blanket or anything that works for you. Now you do have to be careful of which type of yoga to use because there is a type that can do damage to your body, and that is called hot yoga Bikram. These poses are practiced in a hot room, and the reason you can't do these poses is because you'll end up putting yourself at risk for inflammation. Although yoga isn't the most intense workout out there, it will help you to ease your pain. So what's next is manifestations of systemic lupus. This is a research article that analyzes manifestations such as constitutional, musculoskeletal, pulmonary, dermatological, and many more. Although this would not be my first resource out of the other five to use, it does provide us with a ton of valuable information for a patient with lupus. So I mentioned a few of the manifestations that are mentioned in the article, and the one I want to talk to you guys about is musculoskeletal. This article says that 95% of lupus patients have arthritis, but it can be mistaken for a different disease and unfortunately can lead to discovering lupus months or even years later. If you are someone that's not have much information on lupus, I would highly recommend this article to you. So, last but not least, Life with Lupus. This documentary is probably one of my favorite resources out of them all because it shows you what it's like to truly live your life as a lupus patient. How Karen's three daughters have taken care of her and devoted their time to her is truly amazing. Karen Gadek was diagnosed with lupus, and about 15 years later, she finally accepted the fact that she has this disease. She mentioned that the easiest way to explain it is that your body is allergic to itself, and unfortunately, she's not wrong. This documentary shows us that it affects not only the patient, but the people and the family around them. Karen and her children never gave up and kept a positive attitude no matter what happened in their journey. When you are diagnosed with lupus or any disease, it is so important to always remember that you should have a positive attitude. So, I hope this information helped you guys and informed you a little bit more on lupus. As I mentioned before, that even though lupus is an incurable disease, it is so important to always have a positive attitude. Thanks, guys.